What's up, comic book fans? Anchorpete here, and I'm with my good friend Brian. Brian, you have a shirt that says "Reading" on. What's the rest of that shirt say?
Oh, I gotta show you. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, show me that chest. Reading the Necronomicon is fun. All right. That's
And
awesome.
I wore this to parent teacher night at my son's school.
You didn't realize it, right?
I didn't, but I thought it was funny. And
Okay.
I mean, it's very clear that no other parent at the school is anything like me.
That's okay though.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: do like how many times a week do people say "cool shirt, man"? How many times a week do you get that?
I not that often because I guess I don't go as many places as I used to. So it happens every so often though, and it's nice.
Oh yeah, there's like a pandemic going on, right?
Yeah, I might have heard something about that.
Yeah.
No,
Like,
but seriously, I like wearing shirts like this because like usually it's some kind of weird mashup or something. This is not really, but it's always nice when somebody recognizes both things. It's like, hey, you acknowledge this, and I appreciate that we both like these things.
of course, yes. I don't really get a lot of praise for my shirts, but I do get for the shirt that says "half in the bag." That's like that show by Red Letter Media.
Uh, I guess we have nothing in common.
Oh, you and me? No, we definitely don't. Yeah, no, nothing. You know what's funny with like our viewers, if we have any, is like, do you think there's people that like they turn on our show and they're like, all right, give me some of that sweet MCU content, and then like, what the fuck? These guys just talk about shirts for like 10 minutes, right? Like every episode. I don't know. Anyway, it's not like tonight's episode of What If was exactly a stellar episode. I'm kind of worried that you're going to use your magic and make me be like, wait, that was the best episode.
Wait, you didn't think this was the best episode?
Oh, my God. Dude, I almost kind of think that, like, the showrunners made this episode to trap guys like you and me so that, like let's spend a half hour talking about this show. And then they just gave us this, like, lame-ass episode where nothing happens. And now we're like, what do we talk about?
Yeah, it's funny too is that we had some conflicts the previous weeks and we crammed 3 episodes in that had a lot more to talk about into one little thing there, and then we have this episode just by itself.
Dude, and it sucks because like literally I think we could talk about it for 5 minutes and then we would be done.
Yeah.
But that makes me think, right? Because how many more of these What If episodes are there?
Well, this was episode 7, so there should
Okay.
be 2 more in this season.
Okay. Because I was thinking that like if we're just watching single episodes and they're like just essentially a half hour, maybe we could like pop in a couple of those Star Wars Vision.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that dropped, but that dropped today too, didn't it?
Yeah, man. It dropped, and then like it's all 9 installments too.
Oh wow, they did that. Interesting.
They did like a Netflix thing, yeah.
That is, yeah. I'll definitely watch that. And I was talking to you about this on Twitter, but I am like really into the Why the Last Man show. Like it is really really good.
Okay. Well,
I'm pretty sure that also Doom Patrol comes back tomorrow night.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. Is like, what's the next MCU show after this? I know I ask you this every week.
But it's gonna be Hawkeye. That's not gonna be until November.
November.
So we're gonna have to make do with things like Star Wars Visions. We can talk about Why the Last Man. We can talk about Doom Patrol. We could talk about there's something else I was gonna say. The Boys has got to be sometime. I think it's a little further off.
Okay. Yeah.
Have you caught up on that, by the
way? For The Boys, I'm like midway through 2nd season.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, you know what? If we have any viewers that actually like comment and shit, they could say which of those they have a preference for. But like, I would totally be down for talking about The Boys. I would totally be down for watching Why the Last Man because you gave it so much praise. And then Doom Patrol. I finished the 1st season. I didn't watch the 2nd season.
Okay, you gotta catch up there. You know what? Actually, I've heard from numerous people that Titans is really, really good too. I watched the first, I think 4 or 5 episodes of the 1st season, and I struggle with it. But from what I understand, it gets a lot better afterwards. Okay. And I think their 3rd season it's got to be almost done at this point, or at least halfway through. So.
Yeah, I know. I saw stuff they have like Jason Todd in it, but it looks like he's the Red Hood, and Deathstroke's in it. So I'm interested in that kind of stuff too. So I don't know. We got to figure out which thing we want to focus on, but we'll watch something in between this and Hawkeye.
Sounds good.
See how much we're like skirting around this episode of What If? It's like, let's talk about anything else.
Hey, you know what? I'm looking at this script. Let's just further skirt off this thing here. I'm looking at my picture. I finally hung up my Transformers the movie lithograph in the background behind me there. Yeah, and I think it's too high.
What's that?
I think it's too high. I think I gotta lower it.
Just for like symmetry with that Optimus Prime picture, you can lower it a little bit.
Yeah, well, I guess I didn't really consider how it was gonna look behind me here. I mean, I literally did it 20 minutes ago. I was just waiting down here. I'm like, oh shit, I guess I can hang this up.
Oh, nice. So is that from like Mondo?
Shout Factory. So this I got this along with the 4K Steelbook Transformers the movie. So
look at that. That's so hot. Yeah, that's Blu-ray?
4K Blu-ray, yeah.
Oh man, that's cool. Can you play that on look how much we're avoiding this What If episode. Can you play that on a PlayStation 4?
4K. I mean, yeah, it should play. I mean, I don't know if it'll be 4K, but yeah, it would definitely play.
Okay. I might have to get that for myself too, because I finally have a PlayStation. But anyway, I'm going to try to bring us back into this What If episode.
All right.
Our large audience that wants to hear about it. So I don't want to like rag on it too much, because I don't believe in like ragging on movies or shows, just to make content. And then I was thinking, like, what if this is actually like a Make-A-Wish episode that like somebody that had a terminal disease got to write it, and I don't want to like rag on it then, So, but it's the same people as always. It's AC Bradley, who's the head writer and the showrunner, and then Matthew Chauncey, right? So the two of them, I think, pretty much like write every episode. Did you like this episode?
I would have to put this. I do have a couple semi-positives to say about this episode, but for the most part, no. I was sitting through most of them like, what's going to happen here? This isn't just going to be like, this isn't going to be just what it is the whole time, is it? And it kind of was. So I was a little disappointed. Yeah. One of the first things at the bat, I'm listening to the episode and I'm thinking, wow, I mean that might be Chris Hemsworth, but I didn't think anyone else sounded like the original actors, and I was wrong. With the exception of like Frigga, that was pretty much, and Captain Marvel, that was pretty much everybody. That was Jeff Goldblum. That was Taika Waititi. Well, Taika Waititi didn't really say anything, but that was Natalie Portman. That that was all those people, and I was shocked at that because so many did not sound like them.
I think that the most distinct one that did not sound like the person was Natalie Portman, and yet it was Natalie Portman.
Yeah, and I thought, honestly, I thought Darcy, I thought, Kat Dennings.
Kat Dennings.
I thought that was like someone doing a Kat Dennings impression. I really did.
Oh. Yeah, no, I thought that she sounded a lot like the character, or herself. But they didn't put Selvig in there, what's his face? They referenced him.
Yes, right? They did, yeah. And yeah, there was. I mean, this episode definitely felt like a sitcom or like a filler, or I mean, it kind of reminded me of, in a very very slight way, the What If spinoff, What the, but I feel like What the got like really like zany, it was like really like wacky, and this was not exactly that, but it was definitely a much lighter hearted, comedy-based episode. And I mean, there were some funny jokes in there. There were some funny nods. I think probably my favorite reference was like more of a real-life reference when I believe Thor tells Captain Marvel to smile more. Oh. Which was like a very famous, like, horrible fan thing that people that some fans were saying about Captain Marvel or said to Brie Larson or something like that. Right. I thought that was kind of funny. They put that in there in like a mocking way. That was kind of good.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, there were some other little Easter eggs there. I mean, I didn't notice this off the bat, but it was pointed out. There was a guy in the party, one of the party scenes, with the pineapple shirt, and a lot of people think that was supposed to be Taika Waititi from the original SDCC panel where they announced Thor Ragnarok, or the first SDC panel for Thor Ragnarok. So that was kind of cool. And other than that, it was just a bunch of cameos from all the space cast, really.
Yeah.
We saw Nebula, we saw Yondu, we saw Drax, Rocket, Mantis, the Grand Master. Who else? His bodyguard Topaz. I don't know. I'm just naming people. That's how little I have to say.
Well, I got some stuff to kind of stretch it out a little bit. I got my own little Captain Marvel too.
Oh, nice.
This is a Captain Marvel that we bought for Clementine, and then she got maybe like gum or something in her hair, and so I decided to cut her hair to be like the Marvel Comics Captain Marvel, but it looks pretty rough.
Okay. No, it doesn't look bad. It almost looks more like she kind of had that hair in one of the movies in Endgame.
Endgame, yeah. But what I was gonna say was, if we rank the Thor movies, right? It pretty much goes, everybody loves Ragnarok, then the first movie people enjoy and think is pretty good, and then Thor: The Dark World is usually on the bottom of most people's MCU lists. It's between that and like Incredible Hulk, maybe Iron Man 2, right?
Yeah, those three are the consistent bottom three for everybody.
Yeah, and so with that being the case, it's interesting the difference in quality between the Thor movies, right? Because everybody loves Ragnarok for the most part, and that's in a lot of people's top 5 of all the MCU movies. And it's very interesting because Thor Ragnarok is such a drastic departure from the other 2 Thor movies, right? Like, they really play up the cosmic stuff, and they really kind of get into that Guardians of the Galaxy mode, right? It's its own thing, but it's definitely like, oh, we're in the universe, and it's just like Guardians of the Galaxy where there's quirky alien people. And it's interesting how much world building is for the whole MCU is just in Ragnarok, right?
Yeah, you have the planet Sakaar, you have the Grand Master, you have all kinds of stuff there.
Yeah, there's all these other races, and it's kind of funny because when Thor Ragnarok ends, the post-credit scene has Thanos' big giant ship showing up and like ambushing the Asgardian refugees, and they have these aliens on their ship too, like Korg and the little bug guy, and like so much of I think what people like about the Marvel movies, I think a lot of it comes from Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor Ragnarok. I think that like once it hit that period of like, I think that's like phase 3, or Guardians is phase 2, right? And then Ragnarok is phase 3.
Yes.
Right. So like in that space between the two, I think that's really when like it was like, oh, we can't stop the MCU. The MCU is just incredible. And so they really just put that in this episode and really just put it right in your face. It's like, look how fun everybody is. Oh, there's Korg, there's this guy. But there's like nothing more to it than that. It's like what you said. It's just like cameos, and there's really nothing interesting in the story at all.
Yeah, the way Jane acts towards Thor is very odd. She basically just turns into she just throws herself at him essentially, which doesn't seem like Jane exactly. Yeah. Maria Hill was kind of a little bumbling, I guess, which is a little weird.
Yeah.
Even the fight between Thor and Captain Marvel was kind of like comedic and strange. But there were some joke beats that I thought were kind of funny, and it was interesting change of pace, I suppose, because they haven't done anything like that. There was pure, intentional comedy. I thought the Loki showing up as like full on frost giant was kind of cool, and the way they made that little twist was interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, really, the question they ask is kind of interesting, but just what they gave us wasn't.
Right.
I like what they implied, that Loki, as a foil to Thor, molded him into who he is, and then without that, he's different, but it seems like an odd choice to make him like that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even Sif and the Warriors 3 like are all just, like drinking buddies, and it seems strange.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Loki, unlike Thor, has a lot of character development in every movie that he's in, right? In the first Thor, he kind of realizes that he's the Frost Giant King's son, and it's kind of a revelation. In Avengers, they've kind of implied that he was under like Thanos' spell, or like the Mind Stone was influencing him. And he's defeated pretty badly in Avengers. Then in the Dark World, he seems to mourn his mother so much more than Thor mourns the death of his mother. And so you see like how he's affected. And I think that you brought up a great point of like, it's an interesting concept that they had executed in a different way, just to show how truly like Thor would have been affected without Loki as his brother. And they just make it that he's sort of like a frat boy, and he just kind of says a lot of kind of cliche things that you would expect like a millennial to say, or I mean, I guess technically we're millennial, but like, like young kind of hip people would say.
Yeah.
He's like taking selfies and shit, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do a keg stand or something." I don't know what the hell he's saying.
Or he's telling the Skrulls to do me, and then they all turn to him. And
right, yeah. So you could still have him acting like that, but there could be something that, like, there wasn't any kind of negative side effects. Like, how they kept implying that there was something that happened to the planets that he had partied at before?
Yes.
I thought that was going to be that, like, he was secretly evil or something, or that he had upset some kind of force that was tracking him or something. But it just ended up being nothing.
Yeah, I mean, this would have been a great way to introduce Gore the God Butcher.
Right. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
But I guess they're trying to kind of give a different view on existing things,
right,
rather than things that are yet to come. So, or things that are happening from the comics. So, I mean, I kind of get it. And then, I mean, we also have to mention, we can't not talk about the very, very last second of the episode,
yes.
Which again is so out of left field that there's just no way that this doesn't come together again in some manner. And I know last week we were speculating, is it just an episode they come back in? Is it going to be a team of these multiple heroes that come together and they're going to keep coming together? Or are all these going to be like Justice League and have like a standalone episode to follow up with everything, but just a season later? I feel like we've talked about that the scene of the Avengers, the camera panning around, and we have these different multiversal hero versions.
Yeah,
like the only one we haven't really gotten is Gamora. So I imagine that's going to be the next episode, and then this last episode will somehow tie them together.
Yeah.
So and I'm still hoping that that's not a one-off tying together episode, because I feel like it's too much to contain in a single episode.
Yeah, there's only 2 episodes left, like you said, and then if you look on IMDb, there's no picture for episode 8 for like the little thumbnail, and it doesn't have a description or anything like that. Then if you look at episode 9, it has the T'Challa Star-Lord in the thumbnail, and I know that like the Gamora that you just referenced, you always see an image of that if you go on the IMDb. So it's like they're probably going to show her, like you said, next episode. But it just like, it seems like the 9th episode is going to be, like you said, them all coming together. And like, who knows? Maybe they're kind of playing it by ear, and that like, if that's a big episode, maybe the next season of What If will have almost like a team or something. And it's not just like standalone kind of Twilight Zone episodes. Maybe it's like
Exiles.
Exactly. It's like Exiles. And that's a really great way for them to do what you're wanting them to do, which is to like continue those stories they established. Because if you have them as a team, then just like on Exiles, they can kind of bounce off each other and talk about how like their world affected them, but then they might go back to their world and like check on it or something, or like someone might come from their world and interact with them. So like they might see how successful this show is and just say, okay, we could try the team approach next season. I don't know. You know, they probably are very cognizant of what the fans want when it comes to this kind of stuff, you know, and maybe like what they see in general about the fans or the fans' response affects what they're going to do next.
Yeah, and also, if I'm not mistaken, I think they already did confirm a second season.
Yeah. Like talking about IMDb, it says there's 18 episodes, so
Okay.
they already have a full, you know, lineup. Yeah. You know, it's funny. Just one little side note too. Boba Fett from Star Wars, they introduced him in a cartoon, and it was during the holiday special, right? And so that made me think like it would have been kind of cool if they did introduce Gore the God Butcher in this, because then it's like, oh, he's introduced in the cartoon, and then we see him later, you know.
That's true. I mean, or maybe this is a little more far fetched, but we still also have the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special as well. Although I don't know when that's supposed to come out.
Oh yeah, probably not this year before Christmas, right?
Yeah, I can't imagine that coming out before Christmas because I have heard nothing about it, and I can't imagine it coming out in a non-Christmas time.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, so I mean, they're not going to introduce anybody new, which is kind of lame. But for a stinker kind of episode like this, it would be cool to have something like that. And of course, they did that stinger at the very end, like you were talking about. So that's pretty much Vision, like wearing an Iron Man suit that looks like Ultron, right?
Yes, and he has the Infinity Stones embedded in there. And honestly, I think that might have been it might have been the most intriguing of the little end of episode stingers to me. But still just completely out of left field, to the point where it's like, why are these things connecting, you know? Like what is the absence of Loki change? You know, how does that change how Vision is created and Ultron and all that?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you notice, there's like no Tony Stark in this episode, right? But yet it's around the time of Thor, right? So
True.
You figured he would have showed up or something, but I guess.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point.
Yeah. So I don't know, you know, maybe it was so quick and he was like in a background shot or something, and it's just Tony, or maybe it's like you see Iron Man for a second, but I didn't see him at all. And what I was going to say was that we don't really see consequences that have to do with Thanos or Avengers type stuff in this at all. We just see like the Shield stuff and Captain Marvel. But I was thinking that with Vision and Ultron, maybe if we have that Gamora episode next episode, maybe what happens is she goes to Earth looking for Infinity Stones for Thanos, and maybe Ultron has gotten all the Infinity Stones, and that's why he's able to go into other dimensions and stuff.
Interesting. I mean, I feel like with the Gamora episode, it's going to be something more where she's somehow not with Thanos. I mean, she has his weapon, so I imagine Thanos is dead or something.
Yeah,
I don't know if she's trying to avenge Thanos or she just killed him or something, or I'm not really sure how that's going to play out. But it would be interesting if, although it would also be kind of weird to have to start an episode as a direct connection to another one.
Yeah,
you know, I got the bat. Like if you're finishing up one, that's fine, I think. But they haven't done that, and I'm not sure if that would fit in with the, you know, how the episodes have been flowing.
Yeah. Well, why do you think Ultron is there? And like, he's you think that's an Ultron from like another reality, right? It's not like from...
maybe not. I mean, if let's think about Age of Ultron. So, Age of Ultron has the Mind Stone, right? It's the Mind Stone. And they use the Mind Stone to create Vision in that movie, and Ultron's in that movie. So if we don't have if there's no Tony, I got nothing.
Yeah, right. Because Vision, Ultron, first of all, is like a program that Tony and Banner make, right? Like Bruce Banner and Tony make.
Well,
right?
it's based on Jarvis. Yeah. Oh no, Ultron. I'm sorry. Yes, you're right.
Right. So like, I don't think it's from this world of the episode we just watched. I think that it's like Ultron from another world that has all the stuff of Avengers, but maybe like Age of Ultron, Ultron wins. And so then like Thanos comes to Earth and Ultron has killed all of humanity. And then he has the Mind Stone for Vision.
Wait.
They're able to like defeat Thanos somehow. That I don't know.
Is the Mind Stone, is that not what was in Loki's staff?
Yes.
Oh, so maybe that's it. I mean, Loki does not attack New York. So the Mind Stone takes a different path. And I guess I got nothing else there. I think that's got to connect to it in some way. The fact that Loki is different, he's clearly not going to be working for Thanos, and he's not going to be taking over the Earth in the way he is. He seems to be content as a frost giant. He probably is the king now, I imagine.
Yeah.
So maybe that just changes the trajectory of the Mind Stone, and it leads to this version of the Vision and Ultron, and heck, maybe they'll actually tie Hank Pym in this time, because he seems to be the problem in every reality.
Yeah, that would be cool. I would really appreciate that if he was like the Ultron creator. But you know what? I'm gonna bet money that he's from a different reality and he just came into this reality, and his reality is like he won Age of Ultron. But your theory that you're saying is cool, because your theory makes it sound like Loki really has had a major influence on the MCU, which he has.
Yeah,
right?
He has. Yeah.
Right. That's what I was kind of like, just to bring it back to what I was saying before, is that like the Thor movies, even though 2 out of 3 people aren't that hot on, and especially don't like one of those, they really do set like world build for the MCU. They really do stuff with like that.
Well, they expand the world as well. I mean, not just world building, but they make it larger than Earth.
Right. That's Thor, and then Guardians of the Galaxy. Those are pretty much like the 2 main things that like essentially like set up Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah, because without them, we wouldn't have any of the space stuff, and
Yeah. Do you like the space stuff the most? Like, is that your favorite part of the MCU?
I do like space. You know what? I mean, semi off topic. I mean, with Transformers, I'm actually like a huge fan of the 3rd season, which is the first movie season, because it's all in space. Like I vastly prefer my Transformers media when it's on Cybertron or in space or ships or whatever, just not on Earth. I don't care. So honestly, yes, I like seeing different planets and races and cultures, and it's just so much more you can do that, because we don't know anything about that kind of stuff. Right. I mean, we know things about planets and things like that from observing them, but we don't. They're probably, or maybe there's life, maybe there's not. Who knows? We don't need to get down that kind of rabbit hole, but like it's so unknown, and it's such an open book to do. Everything is on Earth. It has to be grounded in some kind of reality. No matter, even if we're talking about, people with superpowers and gods and all this stuff, there's a grounding to it. But when you bring space into it, it expands and it makes it so much more different and exciting to me.
Very, very well put. Very well put. And that 3rd season of Transformers goes off of the movie that's on your wall over there that you just showed the Blu-ray for, Transformers the movie, which really just kicks into high gear, and there's these different planets they go to and all these kind of crazy scenes that are ultra violent, and then the music is just this crazy soundtrack. And the Thor stuff and the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff isn't exactly like that, but it's like closer to that than the other MCU movies, because it's like this whole galaxy of just crazy shit going on. Yeah. And it's just fun, Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So somehow we took this like kind of turd of an episode and got a little philosophical and kind of dug deep with the MCU lore. But
see, I think our episode about it was better than their episode.
Yeah, no kidding. And I don't like to brag, for our 30 viewers or whatever. But yeah, I think we deserve it for this one. So next week, you guys tell us. We could start talking about Doom Patrol. We could start talking about Why the Last Man. If y'all don't tell us, we'll make a decision ourselves. But we want to know, as What If comes to a close, are we talking Why the Last Man? Are we talking season 3 of Doom Patrol? Are we doing Star Wars Visions? Let us know. And we will talk to you guys next Wednesday night at 9:15. We'll see y'all.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.